ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa eléègbẹnu tán o eléègbẹnu tán o àṣírí àwọn suspect Ogun àti Mẹta àṣírí wọn ti tú tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ni wọ́n ń sponsor àwọn people tá a pè ní Boko Haram yìí, àwọn ni wọ́n ń sponsor àwọn people tá a pè ní bandit yìí. Sahara Reporter ló gbé jáde, èèyàn mi. Sahara Reporter òun ló gbé jáde. Ṣé ẹ ti rí nǹkan tá à ń sọ fún yín? Níbi tá a mú wá fún yìí ẹ lè rí níbi kankan. Ẹ lè rí níbi kankan. Wọn ò aláwọ̀ àwọn Nigerian news kó gbé jáde. Wọn ò aláwọ̀ Nigerian news kó gbé jáde. Àmọ́ àwa tá a bá ti rí any news táwọn ìjọba Nàìjíríà ń gbé pamọ́, àwa á máa mú wá fẹ̀yìn èèyàn wa láti máa fi etí gbọ́. Ẹ̀yin wa, àníṣe àṣírí wọn ti tú. Àṣírí àwọn Ogun àti Mẹta uncover 23 suspected terror financier with billion sufficient transaction. Máa play fún wa, ẹ fi ètò àyín gbọ́, ẹ fi ètò àyín gbọ́. Ẹ̀yin yẹn wá, tẹ́ ń bá wa ká lọ, ẹ má gbàgbé láti bá wa subscribe tó YouTube channel wa. Ẹ dì mọ́ bá wa pé ètò yìí kó mọ lọ dáadáa. Àwọn nǹkan tí ó ṣe gbogbo àwọn ọmọ kóòtù òjìrè láǹfààní tá a fi rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ sí orílẹ̀-èdè wa tá à ń jà fún, gbogbo ẹ̀ láàmú mú ẹ tí gbọ́ yín. Ṣé ẹ ti gbọ́? Kò ní sú wa, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò ní rẹ̀ wá. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ aládé àníṣe dandan ni ilé ti yá. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ lé, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rù, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rù, ẹ jẹ́ ká dìde láti rí pé a jà fómìnira tiwa gangan, kí a lè bá dé ilẹ̀ ìlérí. Fídíò tí mo mú wá fún wa yìí, mo fẹ́ ká fara balẹ̀ ká jọ fídíò náà o. Mo fẹ́ ká fara balẹ̀ ká jọ fídíò náà dáadáa. Àlàyé tó wà nú ẹ̀ tí ẹ bá fara balẹ̀ tẹ́ bá wò dáadáa, ẹ rí wípé àwọn ìjọba Nàìjíríà ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan kan wà tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ń dáwọ́ bò tí wọ́n fẹ́ kí ó hàn sí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà àtàwa Yorùbá, torí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé tó bá hàn sí wọn, àṣírí wọn ti tú nìyẹn. Àṣírí wọn ò sì ní bò, àṣírí wọn ò ní bò, àṣírí wọn ti tú náà làá fi mú ilé wá fún yín pé kẹ́ ẹ gbọ́. Àṣírí wọn ti tú. Àwọn uncover 23 suspects terror financier with billion ni o, with billion. Ó ní agbára. Ẹ̀yin wa, ó ní agbára, ó ní agbára, ó ní agbára. Kábíyèsí Elédùmarè, kábíyèsí Elédùmarè, Ọlọ́run ọba. Àníṣe máa túbọ̀ bá wa tú àwọn ìjọba Nàìjíríà láṣìírí, máa túbọ̀ bá wa tú wọn láṣìírí sẹ́ẹ̀. Ìyà tí ń jẹ àwọn èèyàn wa ti pọ̀ jù, ìyà tí ń jẹ wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù. Má bò àṣírí wọn, má bò àṣírí wọn pàápàá, máa túbọ̀ bá wa tú wọn láṣìírí. Gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó bá ṣe níkọ̀kọ̀ tí wọ́n fẹ́ káwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ò mọ̀, kété tá a bá ti rí báyìí, a máa mú jáde wá fún yín, ẹ máa fi tẹ́ra yín gbọ́. Ṣé ti gbọ́? Òyìn náà kò ní jù báyìí lọ. Ẹ ṣé.
Today is Saturday, the 6th day of December 2025. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, yesterday, Sahara Reporters published that they uncovered 23 suspected terror financiers with billions in suspicious transactions. Billions in their account, billions in transactions that they have conducted. But I am surprised because I'm afraid of this our generation. Do you know that no blogger that posted this, no blogger that reposted it, no blogger talks about it, national televisions are not talking about it, your influencers are not talking about it, everybody you are following online, they are diverting your attention to the reality that is on ground. There is a problem on ground. Now, yesterday I also posted a confession of a major general who was doing investigation, fighting insecurity, arresting the heads of Boko Haram, trying to, force the government to prosecute them. And the government released them without charging them. And he discovered that an airline was bringing ammunition for Boko Haram, a Nigerian airline owned by a Nigerian, owned by someone that you all know. And not only that, he named these people to office of the Attorney General, led by Mandami. He named it to the office of the current ambassador to Benin Republic, Brutai, that was appointed by Buhari. And Brutai was the chief of army staff, and the whole country is quiet. That is not their problem. Their problem is celebrity news. Who is dragging who? Who is doing it? Like, what sort of rubbish? What kind of generation am I in? See, if it was in Ghana, let me not go far. If it was in Ghana, they released those names and they said these are the terror financiers. By now, the country will be inflamed because they will get justice to it. I understand that people might say what the Major General said is not official. Okay, you can't enforce what he just said on the court of law, or you can't take action because of what he said. Is that what you think? Now, Sahara reporters also conducted an investigation before they start publishing people's name with their account details. That is to say, they are prepared that any extent you take them, they can defend what they published. No, Nigeria is reacting. Then, I want to let you know something for those of you who do not understand Nigeria. Nigeria is deeper than you think. Most celebrities that you know and you think they are doing you favor, most of them are working with the government, and most of them are made to distract you. When there is a very important issue about Nigeria, there must be a distraction. I started following this about 4 years ago, not even under Tinubu alone, even in the past administration. If there is something like the name of terror financiers, just imagine when Kuwa Baraje, when he made a statement in his 70th birthday that time, that he was among the people that imported the terrorists that removed Jonathan, that he brought all this Fulani militia from Sahel to remove Jonathan. The following day, there was a celebrity news. Everybody, they started dividing attention of people. The video is this, the video is that, the video is this. What is it called? This Peace Corps, he's quarreling with his fellow brother. They diverted the attention of Nigerians from a confession that APC politicians imported these bandits that are killing you today. They diverted you people's attention. And I'm very careful. Ever since then, I have been monitoring it, documenting it. Anytime you see something that's supposed to blow up a nation, then you will see a distraction will just come, boom. Everybody will focus on the distraction. And after this distraction, what next? Your eyes will be clear. Then you know that you are still in that mess. You will return to that mess again. So, I know that so many people have not seen the names of the terror financiers. Among all of them, we have only one foreign suspect, which is from Uganda. And this person from Uganda has ties in Nigeria, like has people, relations in Nigeria as well. Number one there is Alhaji Saidu Ahmed. Alhaji Saidu Ahmed was born on July 6, 1961. We have number two, Usaini Adamu, born in 1963. We have Mohammed Sani, born in 1978. We have Abubakar Adamu Yendo. He was born in October 18, 1968. We have Motonda Abdullahi Jega, born on December 1, 1970. We have Sadiq Garba Abubakar. Sadiq Garba Abubakar was born on May 10, 1980. We have Husani Adamu. Husani Adamu was born on May 2nd, 1974. We have Mustafa Ibrahim Yakubu, born on December 12, 1966. We have Ali Abdullahi Yusuf. Ali Abdullahi Yusuf was born on 9th of September, 1982. The 10th there is Nasiru Shuaibu. Nasiru Shuaibu, or Shuaibu, not Shuaibu, sorry, okay. Shuaibu was born on June 15, 1973. Number 11 there we have Yusuf Gazali. Yusuf Gazali was born on March 18, 1982. We have Mansu Muhammad Osman. Osman was born on April 22nd, 1981. We have Yazid Osman Muhammad, born on November 5, 1985. Alhaji Musa Iman. Musa Iman, born on February 1st, 1962. We have Modu Sulum, born on September 7, 1972. We have Adamu Aliyu Kanonam. a jewelry dealer born on January 1, 1970. Habibu Mohammed Osman. Habibu Osman born on June 7, 1978. It continues like that till Sadiq Garba Abubakar, okay, who is number 20. Now, there are other names that they put there. What I discover from these people, they are something similar to them all. Now, I understand that all of them are extremists. All of them believe Sharia. All of them are like Islamic extremists. All of them. I'm going to somewhere, stay with me. Then, among all these people, their names are mentioned here. Sharia reporter was able to figure out how much in their account, billions of naira, okay? Apart from the money in their account, what are they doing? Some of them are doing forex trading. They use forex trading to do the transactions, store money for these terrorists, for this Boko Haram. Now, they do bank transaction as well. Then, we have some of them who are trading jewelries, gold. These are the people who are responsible for the international transactions, helping the Chinese to do all this international gold business for them, using it to aid terrorists in Nigeria. You know that I told you people about the business of gold in Nigeria and terrorism. They have been using it, they have been mining this gold since, and they have been using it to, fund this terrorism, who always back their actions with Sharia. Because anytime you talk with them, anytime you have access to them, because they are not hidden, they are living in a safe haven in Nigeria, they are on Telegram, they are on TikTok, they are everywhere. Anytime you talk to them, they will tell you that we are not terrorists. What we are fighting for is already in the Nigerian constitution. So you yourself will get confused, like you will be looking yourself as an idiot. You know why? Because you that is talking, is there any country, sensible country, that will put Sharia in a Nigerian constitution? Not that people are just practicing it on a personal status. They put it in the constitution. They have court of appeal. They have their court. They have Sharia police. In other words, they are enforcing it. In a secular state, it does not happen anywhere in the world. And in the process of that, the fear of people that these people are going to overstep the boundary. These people are going to overstep the boundary of killing Christians, killing African traditional religious people, killing the Jews, killing everybody around them. And you saw what happened in the case of Deborah. You saw what happened in the case of Neh Shaibu, who refused that she is not going to give up her faith, who refused that she is going to be a Christian even unto her death. They release everyone. They refuse to release Neh Shaibu. And someone like Reno Mokri trended with Neh Shaibu, saying there is a Christian genocide, they are killing Christians, they are detaining Christians because of their faith, blah, 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 blah. He traveled to meet Boris Johnson, then Prime Minister of the Great Britain. He traveled from across the world, and he was saying this. And at the end, he made a U-turn just because of his stomach. But that is not the problem. The issue here is this. The names of terror sponsors are being released now. But we are waiting for the official release of that of Tinubu government. You understand? That is why I want Tinubu to officially release these names. You see the name Sarah Reporters release? There is a work that people are doing for me now, and we're doing it together. And bringing it to the public has no detriment to that work, okay? It is profiling these people, linking them to politicians. We want to know the politicians they have had transaction with, the politicians they are linked to, the politicians who are their friends, just like Shegumi friend made billions. Shegumi aid made billions and millions of dollars from negotiating with terrorists and so on and so forth. So these are the things we look into. Now, immediately, the names of these people who are sponsoring terrorists, they started releasing the names. Shegumi came out yesterday. Shegumi made a statement. He said, the sponsors of terrorists in Nigeria are foreigners. Shegumi came out yesterday to make the statement. Why is he making this statement yesterday? Why? That the people who are sponsoring terrorists are foreigners. He never made this statement before. Why? Because they are now releasing the names, and the names of people are the people who are close to him. He feels that they might get to me as soon as possible. So let us also tell them that the names of people who are doing this are foreigners. You know, there is a problem in this country. The youths are the major problem. The youths are more problematic than even our leaders. Even though you people say, let us clear the whole leadership, who is going to take from them? Is it these people that are distracting you from the real deal that is? The people that will see A and call it B Wait, where are the youths? If we, for example, we said let the leaders today now, let them go out. Who are the leaders? Who are the leaders that will take position? Our youths are worse than them. They are worse than them. Small money, they can distract everybody. Small money, they can do whatever they want to do. Just small money. This is a very big problem. But you know what? What is going to be is going to be. So I believe that the world has a destiny for everyone, every place. But sometimes destinies could be distorted. And that is what is going on in Nigeria. The destiny of a great nation has been distorted even from 1914. And the people living in these territories are already in trouble. And I believe that the only way to get out of this trouble is to dismantle this system. Let me know what you think about this. I am Okochapi myself.
Dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it is with a heavy heart that I address you and my fellow Nigerians today. Before I start, it's important to say that as a Nigerian and a member of the opposition, my loyalty is to country, flag, and constitution. And you, as the primary symbol of our flag, have my loyalty and support to the extent of your obedience of our constitution. Having said this, my dear President, I want to tell you what you already know. The state of our nation is not good. The blood of the innocent is being shed daily in Nigeria while kidnapping and banditry are commonplace. Granted, you inherited this, but this should no longer be an excuse. At this defining moment when our dear nation is being ridiculed on the world stage, you should be the president who tells Nigerians the truth about this never-ending war that has cost us billions of dollars in taxpayers' money. Are you the president who will give Nigerian people the real facts and figures on those who have been killed in this war, their tribes and religion, and the names of their communities? For those who have been displaced, what has happened to their communities? As rumor has it that their communities are being renamed and occupied by the same people who slaughtered and displaced them. Is this a conflict between farmers and herders, or is this a land grab disguised as conflict between farmers and herders? 4 presidents have come before you since this war started, and none of them told us the truth about what is really going on. John F. Kennedy said, and I quote, "A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people." Mr. President, the time has come for us all to know our enemies and their motives. Is this a religious or political war? Who are the sponsors? We are tired of innuendos and threats of exposing those behind these terrorists. Surely you owe it to the people to expose and prosecute them, if they are known. We are now being told to forgive and grant amnesty to bloodthirsty terrorists. Can we forgive those we don't know? The oath of every public officer, every soldier, is to country, flag, and constitution, and not to tribe and religion. Treason is when some of those entrusted with the protection of the fatherland decide to protect terrorists because they are kith and kin, or because they share the same faith. You owe it to Nigerians to go after these saboteurs. The Nigerian people need to stand as one in this fight. But how can they when the government won't define this enemy or act decisively in the face of the obvious? Nigerian soldiers who once brought peace and pride to other warring nations are now being called cowards. How did we get here? This is Nigeria we're talking about. Who has brought the giant of Africa to her knees? Mr. President, we are ready as a people to face and fight any enemy. But we need you to tell us who the enemy is. We can no longer play politics with the lives of Nigerians. We must also remove the business from this war and face the business of war. The greatest threat to the morale of any soldier is knowing a few individuals are profiting from defense contracts while they risk their lives on the front line. My dear President, let me conclude by saying the following. There's no individual or group of people bigger than our nation or our laws. Your weakness is our weakness. Your strength is our strength. Your failure is our failure. Your success is our success. Napoleon Bonaparte said, the world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of bad people, but because of the silence of good people. The good people of Nigeria are probably silent because they are waiting for a president. They are waiting for you to tell them the truth. A leader is a dealer in hope. We are losing hope. We need to go beyond doing what is tokenism at this point. Every minute that goes by, every hour that goes by, every day that goes by, someone is kidnapped, someone is killed. In the war we face right now, simply changing the Minister of Defense, is that enough? The Minister of Defense is not in the front line, but he commandeers, but he's not in the front line. Nigerians want to know the truth about what is actually happening in this war. Every day what we hear about farmer-header clashes. Is that what this war is really about? Now we're being told it's about mining. Is this war about mining? Are people being killed daily? Are young girls and boys being kidnapped daily because of mining? What's happening to the communities where the people have been displaced? Is this about mining or banditry? Or is this about land grab? Is it true that there's truly a genocide going on in Nigeria, as President Donald Trump has alleged? What is the truth? Going on 2 decades, no president has come out to tell us what's actually going on. We need to know the facts and figures behind those who have been killed so far. Beyond their names, we need to know their tribes, we need to know their religion, we need to know the communities and what's happening to those communities. What have we done to rebuild the communities where people have been killed or where people have been displaced? We now seek as a nation to start rehabilitating terrorists, whereas we ignore the victims of their heinous crimes. So we have to ask critical questions now of our leaders. This president has to be the president who tells us the truth about this war. What is really happening? Is this a religious or political war, or is it both? And if that's the case, what are we going to do as a people to confront this? It's not a war that a government can fight on its own without getting the people behind the war. The Nigerian people need to stand up and fight this war. But before we fight, we need to know who the enemy is. Are we fighting ourselves? Are the enemy amongst us as a people? Those are the questions we need to ask and answer. I was very clear in my speech. The president must unveil those behind this terrorism, those who have brought us to this war. Secondly, state police or state policing is long overdue. There's no reason why at this point, why we should be shying away for what is the obvious in the face of the kind of war we face. Our troops, I believe our troops are very brave men and women who are fighting this war, but this war is no longer a conventional war. This war is a war where the enemy is striking at soft targets across the country. Our troops are exposed at multiple flanks, so the people have to be part of this war at this point. Every brave, every patriotic man, woman, and child should at this point be able to arm up and face this terror that is before us. So state policing is long overdue. You spoke about the bill, which bill again you're talking about again? What's the question here?
The bill to review our circular
Concerning
people.
Yes, in a time of war like this, we must do the unconventional to face the unconventional. If it means that every man, woman, and child should carry guns, like in time of war, then that should happen. That bill, again, is long overdue. We cannot have a situation where people, in the name of being headers, are carrying AK-47s across the country, whereas their innocent victims are left unprotected. How many policemen do we have in this country? How many soldiers do we have in this country? How many people can they protect? The people must be allowed to carry arms to protect themselves. When you have highly placed Nigerians who use opposition as a camouflage to destabilize Nigeria, and the government of the day is scared of going after these people because they don't want to be termed as going after opposition, then we're doing damage to our country. We can't keep on hinting or inferring to Nigerians that this is what is going on. Nigerians must be told the truth. What exactly is going on? It's now like a comedy. Every day you hear that a school has been raided and students are being kidnapped, and the next day you hear that these students have been released. Is it a comedy? Is kidnapping now a comedy in Nigeria? But this is what we're saying. So if you know these people, to reach to them to say that, oh, release these people, that means you know those behind this. You know their faces, you know their numbers. Why are we not going after them? Why are we not going after these people? We cannot be seen as a people, as a government, to condone the killing of our soldiers or our citizens. And we know these people, and then we don't go after these people for reasons best known to the government of the day. This president must be the president that finally unravels the truth behind this war. Let's know who we are fighting. Let's not send innocent people out to fight a war that they don't know who they are fighting. You can't be fighting a war and the person next to you is the actual enemy, as we're now being told. A general was killed like cattle disgraced. A general of the Nigerian army. The Nigerian army. The Nigerian army we're talking about was the pride of the entire African continent. And this is the army we're now being told cannot overrun a ragtag bunch of terrorists. There's more to this than meets the eye, and we need to unravel the truth. To the extent of the role that morality or our value system plays in a society, yes, we are debased as a people. We have lost it completely, and we need to start rethinking our whole value system. We need to think completely, thoroughly, because of the next generation, so that they don't inherit who we are today as a people. We need to thoroughly rethink that. We can no longer be rewarding those who steal, those who commit all sorts of crimes. We cannot be rewarding them with positions. We cannot be rewarding them with contracts. We cannot be rewarding them with amnesty. We cannot be rewarding these people with clemency when their victims are there crying. When the blood of the innocent is screaming to high heavens, we cannot be seen to be rewarding those people who are the terrorizers. As a society, we must turn around from this practice.
What are you expecting?
I'll say this to General Musa. He's been a commander in the theater of war. He's a retired army general, and he knows what it takes to fight war. War is about our territorial integrity. War is about our honor as a people. War is about defending our image before the Committee of Nations. War is about sending a message that Nigeria as a nation is a very strong nation. He must ensure that we face the business of war and leave business out of war. For too long, we have heard all the stories about juicy contracts and what have you, whilst our innocent citizens die and our soldiers sometimes are left uncatered for. In this new office, yesterday he spoke about the general who was killed and about unraveling the near and remote causes. This is 2-3 weeks, too long already to unravel what happened. Too long. When they speak about someone giving a command to withdraw troops and the next minute a school is raided, we don't need to wait 48 hours to know what actually happened. General Musa must in the next few days tell us the true story of what actually happened. We must see something happening to those people who are sabotaging our nation. We're tired of political statements. We cannot wake up one day to hear that an innocent child has been taken from their place of study, or that someone has been killed in their place of worship, or that someone has been taken from the sanctity of their home. That should no longer be us. It should no longer be accepted as our way of life. What we see now, what we call normal, is an abnormality in any climate. We now accept it. When someone is killed, we're now making it, or someone is kidnapped, we now have skits. Don't worry, they will pay and these people will soon be released. Or else our nation just goes to dogs. We cannot continue like this as a people. We must start asking critical questions. To those who seek to make this war and the victims of this war about politics and about 2027, I tell Nigerian people, reject any such person who brings politics into the blood of these innocent victims. This should never be about politics. Because if you allow politics to come into this, you play the game of the people who are destroying our nation. Anybody who brings politics into this conversation, where innocent people are being killed, then you know the enemies of Nigeria. It's not about politics. We've done this for too long. We need to start defending our people and fighting this war. We need to start fighting this war.